Hey yo, what is up, my folks? Shizzlers, it's your boy FizzleTheHizzle, aka Ben here. Bringing you guys the WPL Week 9 team builder for Ryan and the Pittsburgh Steelas, something like that. I stole his mascot, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, man, we are 2-6 on the season, looking to improve our record. And I actually checked off camera, I suppose, and it looks like I have a shot at playoffs, man. If I win out the rest of my games, I have a chance for playoffs. So I'm definitely going to be doing that because I don't have horrible differential. I'm 2-6 -7, which isn't bad at all, differential-wise. Even though 2-6 is pretty awful, but yeah, we still have a chance for playoffs, surprisingly. And I'm going to be doing my best these final matches, just like always. Trying to pick up those dubs and potentially make playoffs, keep my streak going, man. And yeah, our last 4 games of the season, I believe, are Ryan, obviously. Then we play Dom, Latios Azuril, and Chess. I believe that's the last 4. Those are the last 4 matches I have to do. But they're going to be really tough, especially Dom's team. He has an incredible draft. And I have no switching, so I might get delayed. But we're going to be doing our best in these final matches and hopefully make playoffs. If we lose 1, I believe we're just completely eliminated. So I don't want to lose. First, let's just go over Ryan's team. He has Fendi I, really versatile Mon. Can prankster T-Wave. I predict it to be way more supportive this time with like T-Wave and whatever. Prankster T-Wave is definitely coming because it checks my Celestial offensive Celesteela, and also checks it's basically a for the Celesteela is what I predict it to be for. If it's nasty, I really don't think it's going to be nasty plot because I have a Lycanroc that can revenge it every time. Even though he does have pretty good switch-ins with like Donphan and Gramble and Shaman, even P2. I don't expect him to bring a nasty plot set, but I definitely do see it fitting on the team. The Cosmos being a versatility. Weak armor, yikes. Autotomize, weakness policy sets are terrifying. I don't expect it to be that at all. It's definitely going to be max HP, max defense for the Metachan. Definitely going to be that. It's not going to be offensive at all. Like Rocks, Moonlight, Toxic, Photon Geyser, stuff like that. Potentially Heat Wave so he doesn't get walled by my Celesteela. So I definitely predict it's going to be more defensive like that. And Prism Armor makes it so that it takes less damage from super effective attacks. Goodra, very fat dragon on special end, has very low defense. Gets a plethora of coverage. Curse sets are also scary. Can get whittled down easily because it doesn't have recovery, so that's really good. Donphan, really good spinner and rocker. Gets really good coverage with like Seed Bomb, Earthquake, Play Rough, Ice Shard, Stone Edge, stuff like that. It's really good. Sturdy is a thing. It's really good rocker and spinner. I do expect him to bring this 100% because it checks my Lycanroc really well. Gastrodon, I don't know if he's going to bring it or not. I had some trouble with it in mocks, but that was just me being a donut. I have a lot of ways to hit this thing. Well, not a lot of ways. I have some decent ways to hit Gastrodon, but if it does come, it's going to be like Scald, Recover, Toxic, Earthquake, standard stuff. Makes it immune to Storm Drain. Makes it immune to water attacks from Gren, which kind of does run through his team, so I actually do expect him to bring Gastro. So yeah, Gramble, I either expect him to bring both of these or just one of these for sure, because it's a really good Metachamp check as well. Can T-Wave me as well. With Intimidate, it really helps out. It resists my fighting type attacks, and can take his Zen Headbutt pretty easily. I do expect him to bring like max attack, Bold. I put Bold there, but it's going to be Impish. With investment, it can take a couple of hits. Heal Bell, T-Wave, stuff like that. Play rough. Lopunny, a really good cleaner. The girl Buffy. Fake Out, Return, High Jump Kick, gets elemental punches. Sub Power Up Punch is really scary, but I think I have a way around that pretty easily, so no need to worry about that. P2, I'll go more into Lopunny in my team builder. P2 is really fast with the Eviolite, can Toxic Things, Trick Room, T-Wave, Bolt Beam. It gets really good coverage as well. Hits pretty hard with like Download, stuff like that. It has 3 really good abilities, so P2 is fat, so if we get a knockoff on it, then it's not as fat, so that's what I'm trying to do. Shaman, speaking of fat, is really good. It's really versatile. It can be both defensive or offensive. I don't know if you're doing Shaman at all this time. I feel like you could, but it's really good defensively because it's annoying to deal with like Toxic, Leech Seed, Synthesis, stuff like that. But it can also be really good offensively, like Spec Seed Flare is really good because your switch into a Seed Flare is not a switch in anymore because 40% chance to lower but death by 2 sages. That's pretty broken. I'm glad it doesn't get Saving Grace. But yeah, it's pretty fat, and offensive set's really good with decent coverage. Bisharp, straightforward mon. It really does only one thing. Can set rocks sometimes. SD, Sucker Punch, knock off Iron Head. That's all it really does. I don't see another role for it. Defiant is a move ability. Darmanitan we have no switch-ins for. Banded Darmanitan runs through our draft entirely, so I'm kind of worried about that, of course. And Sheer Force, Life Orb sets are really tough to deal with. I think Scarf makes a lot of sense on my team, so he can outspeed my Medicham. I do predict that to be the Bring, so gonna be worried about that. And it gets really good coverage as well with like Earthquake fighting moves. Fighting moves for the Steel types that Darmanitan has really has trouble breaking, you know? The Steel type Storm. But yeah, it hits hard. We have no switch-ins. He has rockers in the form of Necrozma, Donphan, and Bisharp. And he has no other hazard setter, it looks like. And he has removal with Thundurus and Donphan. So if we get up rocks, it's going to be here to stay. And it's really good at chipping down the Darmanitan as well. And I do expect to discard Darmanitan as well for Greninja, so I can just bop that thing. First up, I have Aromatisse. I really like this set, man. Moonblast, Nasty Plot, Wish Protect is really good. Wish Protect is really good, so that I can just beat the best switch-in on my team to Lopunny. This thing is really interesting because Lopunny can run Adamant against my draft. Because if he thinks that I'm going to speed creep something with Greninja, he can run Adamant outspeeding me. But as you can see, I'm not bringing Greninja just because I don't justify it bringing it over something else. But something may change, you never know. In Team Builders, I always do mocks before the battle, so if I change anything, I will let you know before I battle, of course. But yeah, Wish Protect is really good for things to heal up, like the Celesteela and Swampert, which is going to be really good. And Nasty Plot, Moonblast, he does not have very good fairy resist. His Steel type is a Bisharp. That takes like a trillion from Moonblast anyway. And Darmanitan, which switches in on rocks and takes Moonblast damage, which is really good. And it will end up taking Flare Blitz damage if it chooses to click that. So this is a really good set. I like literally chew a return from Lopunny. It takes like 36% minimum or something like that. It's ridiculous. And after rocks, I always live 2 returns from Lopunny if it's Jolly. So that's really good. Orochimaru is really good here because his Steel type is a Bisharp again, and his Fairy is a Granbull, which is gonna be way more physically defensive. He does decide to bring it, which I do expect him to bring it because it prevents me from spamming Dark Pulse and Dragon Pulse on things. But that's why I Flash Cannon there for. It's really good late game cleaner because of that lack of really solid Dragon resist, and Granbull's is Fairy, which is going to be Fizz Def, like I said. Draco Meteor is there just in case I need to get a KO on something, like late game, like on a Gacha or whatever. So this thing is really good. It can clean up pretty well. And I like the set straightforward. Scarf to outspeed Darmanitan, which I have a lot of trouble with. Scarf Draco Meteor does in fact kill Darmanitan after rocks. So that's really good. Hi Ryan, our Celesteela. Autonomize, Z-Fly, Earthquake, Stone Edge. Now I know I get completely walled by Granbull, which is not fantastic, but this thing is really good. It can set up in front of a lot of things. It can set up in front of Necrozma without Heat Wave. It can set up in front of Gudra, maybe, because we have HP investment to take some hits, but we can't kill it with Z-Fly. It can set up in front of Donphan, Gastrodon, unless he gets a Scaldaburn, and Shaman as well. And Bisharp too, because we have a Z-Crystal, we can't knock it off. So his knockoffs are going to be doing 5. We have Edgequake, which hits the majority of his team. Z-Fly is just there to nuke something. Like the Shaman, the Mega Lopunny, because I don't have a Steel move, Heavy Slam. So I need Z-Fly to just nuke things. And we outspeed everything on his team besides like Scarf Darmanitan after +2, so that's really good. And this thing is a really good setup sweeper. He does not have a lot of good things. Once I get a lot of good things to switch into this. Once I get that Thundy and P2 and Granbull weakened, this thing can put in work. Again, Necrozma can take hits because it's going to be Fizz Def, I think. So if we get rid of those things with my Seppa and everything else, it can put in a lot of work, man. And I really like the set. Cryogonal, I really liked this matchup because it can 1v1 potentially Thundy if it doesn't have knockoff or superpower, because I feel like it's going to be more supportive, like U-turn, T-Wave, I feel like it's going to be T-Wave, man. Like, there's no reason not to bring T-Wave against a Steelas and things like that. Please drive Zare to guarantee KO Gastrodon every single time. I don't think he's going to bring max HP, max Pedef, because that's bad. He can't take any hits from like things like Swolipede. So yeah, Recover Knockoff is primarily there for the P2 if he does decide to bring it, which may be switched out. It may be switched out because P2 has a lot of trouble switching into things like the Medicham and Lycanroc, unless it's like really physically defensive. But my Medicham pressures that thing really well, and Rapid Spin is there to get rid of his rocks that I don't want my Aromatisse taking damage from. Same thing with things like Scolipede and Celesteela and Hydreigon. This is my switch into Gastrodon every time unless he Toxics. In that case I have no Heal Bellers, but I can kill it with Freeze Dry every time. And yeah, I like this set a lot. And it's really good. Can also 1v1 Shaman in a way, so that's really good. Unless he gets a Spadef drop with Seed Flare, which isn't really hacks at that point, it's 40%. So next up I have the closest thing to a Darmanitan switch in. Max HP, max defense, Relaxed Natured, Swampert it looks like, Rindo Berry for Seed Bomb, Donphan potentially, which is definitely a bring. Grass Knot Thundy is definitely a problem as well. We have no way to hit it unless it's Scald or something. But rocks are there really good for the Darmanitan because I don't want that thing switching in too much. I want it to be as chipped as possible so I can revenge it with Scarf Hydreigon. Same thing with things like Lopunny, P2. In general, chip on things with rocks are really good. Thundy Eye also takes 25% from rocks, so it's really good. Roar's there for things like Mega Lopunny behind a sub or something, because I don't know if it's really high health, I don't want to Earthquake because it can just keep going with its +1 Power Punch and whatever, and set up Necrozma, which I really don't expect. Roar for Swampert, Roar for Thundy in case it sets up, which I really don't expect as well. Can kind of handle Bisharp in a way. +2 knockoff still does a dozen, but we're max HP, max defense, so we can take hits from that. This is our closest thing to a Darmanitan switch in, like I said before. So wishing this thing up with Aromatisse is really good, and I need to keep this thing healthy if he still has Darmanitan, and I need to keep rocks on the field. He doesn't have very good defoggers or removal in general. He has Thundy and Donphan, which is his only removal, so keeping rocks on the field is most likely going to stay the entire match. This is likely going to be my lead, but of course I will see if there's something better in the matchup. Next up I have Seppa, our Scolipede, Protect, Poison Jab, Mega Horn, Earthquake. We're running just enough speed to outspeed Scarf Darmanitan, and I Protect primarily there for Fake Out Lopunny and Scarf Darmanitan, so I can guarantee to get that speed boost. It's a really good cleaner late game as well. Gastrodon doesn't want to take 2 Life Orb Mega Horns from this thing if I hit it. I feel like I'm going to miss at least 2 Mega Horns. Scolipede needs to come through this week, and it hasn't done a lot. I sacked it like 50 times in the last 10 weeks or so, or whatever, 8. But I feel like this is the time to do work. It also really punishes a Granbull and a Necrozma. It hits those things super effectively that are in the way of my Celesteela from sweeping. So this is a really good breaker and late game cleaner, so that's really good. And yeah, this outspeeds everything on a team after +1 except for Scarf, Thundy, +2 Necrozma, which I don't expect. And Scarf, Shaman. I think I outspeed Scarf Shaman. But I definitely guaranteed outspeed Scarf Darmanitan, which is a very likely bring, in my opinion. And I can kill it with Life Orb Earthquake after rocks every time, especially since we're adamant. It doesn't get coverage, doesn't get that much bulk to eat a hit. But yeah, man, I really like my team. I don't really see a flaw in it. I feel like Lycanroc and Gren were possible to come. Lycanroc I didn't like because he can just switch in Donphan and stuff like that. And Gren, I just couldn't justify myself bringing it over something else. Like, I feel like Cryogonal is way more valuable than Greninja. I feel like Swampert's way more valuable than Greninja. And I don't want to add to my my weakness, my electric weakness. So yeah, that's the team. I really like it, and hopefully we can pick up a W and advance to playoffs, maybe. But I'm at least gonna get 3 wins on the season. Thank you guys so much for watching. It means the world to me. And like always, have a swell day. Peace.